Showers throughout the day in Scotland, in particular the eastern areas of Scotland. Cloudy with showers spreading eastwards in the south of England as well. Elsewhere, it's going to be sunny spells, but rain is expected in the afternoon. You can't really escape from it. Temperatures ranging from 6 Celsius in Scotland to around 9 Celsius in the south of the UK.
This show is obsessed by monkeys, midgets, and gypsies.
Talk Radio, can I help you?
Hi, can I talk to Ina, please?
3, 1.
It's a real thing. A radio signal from another world.
This is the flavour. I'm in love with a beautiful man.
Yes? Do I know him? David Miller. Is he a tit or not? Let me go to Julie in London, who's going to tell us what she's never had in her mouth.
Hello, Ian.
Hello.
Yeah, I cannot put a pig's trotter near my mouth.
Have you ever had need to?
Ian Collins and the creatures of the night.
Look, Jerky, I don't need to talk to you.
Brace yourself.
Yeah, it is a free call. 0500 10 53 89. Here's one we thought we'd whack in here because we like it a lot. Victor Borger!
Victor,
Is he still around?
I assume so.
Has he gone off to join Liberace in the sky? Well, let's hope not for his sake. So, Victor Borger, I don't get it.
He always has some fat opera singing tart.
That's right, he takes the mick.
Yeah, and
He takes the mick.
and the piano's meant to be dented where
Yeah.
the opera singer is leant against it. That's his big joke.
But he's kind of one of those entertainers, and there's one or two of these knock around. I can't think of the others for this moment, but he'll appear on a show, and he'll be introduced as the legendary. You know, like the legendary.
Yes.
And almost his kind of fame is built around the fact that you don't see him very often. Now, I don't know about you, but my interpretation of fame is someone that you see a lot.
Yes, I think it is.
Generally speaking. In contemporary terms, fame is usually a term given to folk who are here, there, and flipping everywhere.
You can't get
The fact that the elusive Mr. Borger has managed to retain the title of famous and simultaneously not be around, to me, smacks of either a bloody good agent or a conspiracy surrounding the Borger mystery.
Oh, yes.
I don't know what.
If I bumped into the geezer in the street, I wouldn't know him.
I wouldn't know.
You know.
He's American with a kind of what seems like a European twang in the voice of some description. I don't know who he is, what he does really, apart from play the piano, takes the pee out of fat women, and tells the odd gag. None of which, incidentally, I've ever found funny.
No, strange that.
Victor Borger. Why? Free call, 0500 10 53 89. We must hear about that. Here's something you might find interesting. Britain, of course. The nation that's losing its identity faster than Ben Johnson doing the 100 metres. This is the point, you see.
Right.
We've got to alleviate the problem. We've got to address the problem.
Coming in.
And the way to do this is to take certain things out of British culture.
Right.
So British culture is fantastic, yeah?
Yeah, brilliant.
Popular culture in this country is just the best.
In the world.
Anywhere. Because we've got everything. Yeah, we've got some American imports, but on the whole, we've got a cultural identity that is unparalleled around the world.
Exactly.
And that really is born out of music and comedy, more than anything.
Yeah, more than anything.
Yeah, okay. But there has to be, if you were kind of like a style auditor,
yeah,
and you're going into a country, and you wanted to make sure you gave it a bit of a cultural makeover.
Yeah.
There'd be certain things you'd have to take out. Now, there could be ways of behaviour, they could be patterns of speech, they could be concepts, inventions, areas of life, places, etc., whatever.
Oh, I see what you mean, yeah.
All under the umbrella of Britain that you would remove in order to make the place just a tad more attractive.
Yeah.
And we'll start with roadside kebab vans.
I'll join you on that one.
Did I ever tell you I caught a guy smoking in one of those things?
No.
I mean, it's like all these things. You know, you've had a few beers, so you become very sanctimonious and pious about the law.
Yes.
And not that you really care. All you want is a big fat kebab. So there I am, and I saw this guy. He was outside a nightclub, actually. One of the old trailer pulls up.
Yeah.
There he is. He's got a cigarette on.
Yeah.
And just as we walked up to the trailer, we were like first in the queue, he opened the back door and lobbed this fag out. And I went up there, I said, "Did I see you smoking?" Then he went, "No." Like, really quickly. Nope.
I
I
think
said, are you sure?
did.
I said, nope. Nope. I said, I didn't. No, you didn't. What do you do, you know?
Yeah.
I said, that breaks the hygiene rules.
It does.
But not only that, you know, putting his fag antics aside, the mere existence of these dreadful beastly trailers,
Yeah.
that I just don't believe in a million years are, by definition, by what they are, particularly hygienic.
No, they're not. You never know how long they've had the old bit of kebab in there.
You don't.
You don't know where...
You don't know what's in the kebab anyway.
No.
It's a lump of congealed meat.
Oh.
What is that?
Don't ask me.
What is that? But how do they get it to taste nice?
Well,
Because they all taste nice.
No, I'll tell you why it tastes nice. It tastes nice because you're ankled.
Is that what it is?
So you've deadened all the taste buds in your gob
Possibly.
through drinking too many beers, drinking too many shorts, smoking too many fags, shouting at your mates in the boozer or in the nightclub because it's too loud.
Yep.
So all your taste buds are dead. You want to stick something in your gob. It happens to be a kebab. It tastes nice. You could stick an old squirrel in there and you'd say that tasted
I
nice.
think there was an old squirrel in the last one I had.
Vermin.
I'm sure I detected a bit of old fluff in there.
Yes, probably.
So we'll start off with roadside kebab vans.
Yeah.
We'll remove those out of the equation. They've got to go, and they've got to go for big.
Big
time.
Big time.
They're going to be removed, so that's one item that if we want to make the country just a tad more attractive, we remove. There is another item as well.
Oh, yes.
There's something else that's got to go.
Go on.
There's something else that has to be removed from Britain in order to alter the image.
Remove it, sir.
We're going to remove it. It's got to be removed big time.
Yes.
It is Cleethorpes.
Let's get rid of... I've never been to Cleethorpes.
Cleethorpes, hell of a place.
Is it?
And the word hell, actually, plays a part in this story. I've told it before, but Cleethorpes was the place that I burnt my arse on an helter-skelter.
I remember that tale.
Do you remember the tale? I
tale.
cried for a fortnight. I was only a little whippersnapper. Came down that thing, which seemed like 5,000 feet high. It was probably like 20 feet or something. And I came down there, and there's nothing worse than a young lad being parted from his sack.
Indeed.
And that's what happened to me. You know, you go up the stairs and they give you one of those old sacks to lob your feet in.
Yeah.
And you sit on it.
They're
And there I
hygienic
am.
as well.
Up there, yeah, they are. You know what's been in there. So there I am, top of the helter-skelter.
Yeah.
I can see all over the Cleethorpes. And the sack has gone.
Oh.
Closely followed by me, but not in the sack. That's not nice.
No.
When you're 4 years old. Red. You never heard anything like it. Wasn't the only sack that I lost that day. So that's Cleethorpes has got to go.
I'll tell you what's got to go.
What's got to go, Miff? What are we going to take out of Britain?
It's indigenous to Britain, and I hate it. It is old folk with shopping trolleys at bus queues.
Yeah, they got to go. What's in those shops? Now, here's the mystery.
I'll tell you
Here's the mystery.
I know what's in them.
Here's the mystery. You stand in any supermarket anywhere and follow an old person shopping.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what they buy.
Good.
They buy one tin of yogurt. They buy a tin of cat food.
Always. Yeah.
Always a tin of cat food, one of those little tins of cat food.
Yeah.
They'll buy something like, like salmon in a tin.
Sterilised milk.
Sterilised milk. They buy all that.
Yeah.
They'll walk out of that place with no more than 5 items.
Absolutely.
And yet, in true Doctor Who TARDIS fashion, they walk out with a shopping trolley the size of what you wouldn't believe.
Of Cleethorpes.
Of Cleethorpes. So that's got to go.
I'll tell you what's in them shopping trolleys.
Go on.
Shopping bags, tartan shopping bags that they put
Yeah.
inside, because you've got to have something to carry your shopping
Sure.
bag, you know. And Chihuahua dogs.
That's what they've got with them.
That is what they always have, the Chihuahua or the pug.
In the shopping trolley.
In the shopping trolley.
So that's a scary moment. If you ever walk behind one of those, and there you are, just mooching down the street doing your own thing, and there's a woman in front, she's got a shopping trolley,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden a beast rears its head out the lid.
Or is there another
That's a
pug?
frightening moment. Yeah.
Sound.
That's a frightening moment, that can sound.
Certainly is.
Yeah, it's always good to carry a pea shooter around at those moments.
Or a big stick.
Yeah, it freaks the dog out, and it freaks the owner out as well.
yeah.
So we're looking for stuff here that you would systematically remove from Britain, and it could be anything at all. Line dancing would have to go in there, of course.
Definitely.
We've got to put line dancing. This whole thing can't get by without mentioning line dancing. So we've got the kebab fans, we've got Cleethorpes, we've got old folk with shopping trolleys. We'd remove all of that lot. Mini cabs.
Oh, they've got to go.
We take those out as well. They've got to disappear. Folk who pretend they sell the big issue. And don't really.
Start me on that one.
Yeah. What they've often got, they've got the outside cover of a big issue and they've wrapped it around a woman's weekly. Well, 50p from a big issue. You want one, and you've been conned.
Always.
So they'll go as well. Free call 0500 10 53 89. I also want some detail on this thing of news stories that passed you by. I mentioned this a couple of nights ago, but it was late on, and we didn't really pursue it. These are stories that hit the news. Big, big headlines, big, big tales, big, big news events, either domestic or international, whatever, that you never heard a darn thing about till like weeks later. And it came up on the news, and you thought, when did that happen? And the story I told, I was working in Spain, and it was at the time that the space shuttle exploded, which was 86, probably early part of 86, I think.
Yeah.
Came back from, didn't know a damn thing about it. Came back, sat in a pub, everyone's chatting away. Somebody just happens to say, well, it's a bit like when the space shuttle exploded, wasn't it? And I said, what's he talking about? And this conversation ensued about the space, oh, it must have been terrible, you know. Imagine being up there in the sky. I'm thinking, this happened today?
No.
And I stayed out of the conversation for about 10 minutes, and then I had to ask the question. And I said, this is going to sound really dumb, but what are you talking about? And they said, the space shuttle, you know, when the space shuttle exploded. What? You don't know? No! I knew nothing about it. Now, that wasn't just a bit of America, that was worldwide news. That was space. Big news.
Front page news on
Didn't know
every
a thing about
newspaper around the
3
world.
months after the event this was. Didn't know a thing about it. What's going on there? So I want some tales of things that have happened and just simply passed you by.
I'll tell you what happened. Do you remember when somebody attempted to kidnap Princess Anne?
Now, that's interesting, because I don't remember that at all.
I don't remember it.
Until about, well, a few months ago.
Yeah, a few months ago, we was talking out there, and was it Mike who turned around and said, oh, don't you remember when Princess Anne, there was an attempt to kidnap her?
No.
And he's Canadian.
That's right.
And
I think, and it was something like she driving in the Strand or something, and somebody smashed the window of the car, and I would have thought that story, it must have been enormous. I know we were, a tad younger then, but even so, that kind of stuff is normally like, you remember it.
You don't pass like me and you.
I remember Harold Wilson, me and the Prime Minister.
Exactly.
So I'm sure I'd remember, but no.
No, neither.
No memory there at all. News stories that just kind of passed you by as if somebody came along on a demented Kawasaki and took it away in front of your eyeballs. The thought. Free call 0500 10 53 89. If you work in the service industry, we were going to talk about this last night. If you work in the service industry, we want the dumbest complaints you've had from folk. But I didn't see this. My dad was telling me about a program that was on a couple of nights ago about the RAC.
Oh, right, yeah.
The breakdown people. And they were telling various tales about the things they've been called out for. And a guy phoned them up and said, can you send someone round to sort my Zanussi out?
Yeah.
And they said, you must mean Kawasaki. He said, no, I'm sending my washing machine. Can you send somebody out to... They said, this is the RAC. Yeah.
You're joking.
And this guy phoned the RAC in order to try and get somebody to fix his washing machine.
No.
Some guy called them out all the way to the motorway side because his cigarette lighter wasn't working.
No.
Which is why now they have more of a foolproof method of kind of questioning you before you...
As you would.
Before you get there. But that, of course, applies to all sorts of areas. Complainers, folk who phoned up with the most bizarre complaint you ever heard.
As you know, I used to be a manager of a record shop of a well-known chain, and I had a woman come in to me and she said, look, I can't remember what CD it was, but it was a CD, and she said, look, I'm terribly sorry, but this CD is faulty. Can I change it? It's probably a Phil Collins thing or something. So I said, certainly, madam, no problem at all. Got out the new CD, put it in the box, give it to her, hand it over, she give me the old one, off she went. Next day, she's back again. This CD will not play. It must be the faulty batch. I said, look, miss, I'll try it. And I put it in our CD plate. I said, look, it's fine. Yes, but you've got a special machine round there that'll play anything. I said, madam, we haven't. I'll give you another one. So I give her another one. Same again. Next day, she's back again. This CD will not play. I said, well, are you playing your machine right? What are you doing to your machine? She says, I do it exactly the same as I do to all the others. I put it on the turntable, I lift the arm, I put the arm...
No!
Yes!
You jest!
I jest not.
You jest in true record store fashion.
Absolutely true. The woman was trying to play the CD...
On a turntable.
On a turntable.
See, irrational complainers.
Indeed.
Irrational complainers. They're all over. When I was working on the holiday centre, some guy came out, he was absolutely fuming. I was the entertainment manager at the place.
Yep.
And I wasn't particularly old, I was only 21. The guy came up to me, he said, I want to work with you. I want to work with you. Get over here. He was absolutely livid. And he said, how do I explain to my 8-year-old what making love to a goat means? What? And I said, this is at breakfast time, like. And I said, what? He said, how do I explain to my 8-year-old what making love to a goat means? And I thought, what is this man talking? This man's mad. Take him away. Take him away with a big stick.
Oh,
and he said, come over. And we walked out. I said, look, we've got to stand outside. Yeah, you've got to tell me what's going on. And he said, I'm disgusted. He said, I'm absolutely disgusted. I booked this family holiday. He said, I've come away. He said, for a fat, and the man's red and the smoke coming out of his ears, and he's absolutely wild.
Yeah.
I come on here. It's a family holiday. It's cost me £450 to get down here. We bought the family every single year, and we come down, and we get this kind of muck being... He was complaining about the comedian from the night before, who told some gag that had some kind of cheesy sort of sexual connotation, and the story involved a goat or something, and it wouldn't have been... I doubt whether the comedian would have said it at a holiday centre had it been completely foul.
No.
But it was obviously suggestive.
Yes.
And I try to explain, the guy concerned, the comedian concerned, was in fact the Midnight Cabaret.
Oh,
okay,
right.
the Midnight Cabaret.
Midnight?
This is a Midnight Cabaret.
Yes.
And I gently suggested, you know, that with all respect, etc., but, you know, that kind of entertainment is not really aimed at your 8-year-old. He said, I'm off to play tennis, and after dinner, I'm going to complain to your manager like you never saw, and your name is in there, and he went on.
Your name's in there?
My name's in there, because
Oh,
I
right.
wasn't good enough. You know, without the assistance of a time machine, I couldn't do anything, you know?
Exactly.
The event had happened, what could I say? And I did explain that we give warnings out that it's adult cabaret. Anyway, the guy concerned, away you go. I'm thinking, what's he going to do? I'll warn the general manager.
Yeah.
So I went to I said, look, you know, this guy, he is Mr. Complainer, 1998. This man, 1988, whatever. This man is going to complain for Britain.
Yeah.
Told him the same story. And within about 15 minutes, we were called, it was a tannoy message, could you please, you know, all members of management or whatever, could you please come to the reception? And there was an ambulance on the way. Somebody had broken their leg on the tennis courts. It was the complainer!
Excellent!
Fantastic!
That's what I like.
Never been, the man, I don't know how you break your leg playing tennis, but he managed it.
Yeah.
And the last thing that we remember seeing him was him on the stretcher, with the ambulance carrying him out. And you know, we're all stood around and said, I haven't forgotten about the goat!
Carry on, Phil.
Yeah, it was. It was in every bit of fashion. So irrational complainers, we'll have some of those on the list as well. Free call 0500 10 53 89, or on the faxes, of course, it's 0541 59 69 79. What would you take out of Britain, we'd like to know. That's got to be an important point that we kind of get across. What would you take out of Britain? Things that just make the place a darn sight more attractive. If you could legislate and have your say, what would be removed? Whether it's a place, whether it's an idea, a concept, a hobby, a pastime, a kind of an accent, whatever you like. What would make this country just a tad more attractive to our tourists who come over and see us in their droves? God bless them. Victor Borga, why? We just want to know.
Yes.
That's all. We just want to know. We're just inquisitive. Also, and the other one there, irrational complainers, let's have some of that. News stories that passed you by. There are plenty of those.
Loads.
It's a free call at this end. Won't cost you anything. 0500 10 53 89. Or fax 0541 59 69 79. A shed load of gear still to come this morning. Got a list here. Look. The list is bigger than that Bernard guy that complained about us.
Oh, no.
And Bernard is still listening. He's still listening. He's still listening, Bernard. You hate us, but you're still listening. You dumbass twit. Listening.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I forgot to tell you. By the way, did you hear? Christopher Biggins is gay.
No! He's gay?
He's gay.
That's unbelievable.
He is.
I can't get my head around that. Free call 0500 10 53 89.
Ian Collins and the Creatures of the Night.
Scott Chisholm. The icon of cool humour says the Cool Britannia campaign is anything but. British men's dress sense is anything but cool. The Northern Ireland Peace Agreement has raised the political temperature, and we're getting hot and bothered about the price of heroin down your way. Scott Chisholm, this morning from 9 on Talk Radio. Join us for The Review with two of the country's coolest young journalists. There's a good argument for listening.
Hello, my name is Sally Eccles. I live in Bristol, I'm a mother of 3, and you've never heard of me. But please don't ignore what I have to say. 5 years ago, I'd never heard of Melody, a little girl who lives in a poor part of Kenya. Then I found out about the child sponsorship charity, Plan International. Now I sponsor Melody. My daughters and I write and receive letters and photos from her and Plan workers, so we know we're making a real difference. Melody's village now has clean water, and she goes to a school Plan helped build. Plan has details of hundreds of children desperate for sponsorship and affection. To find out how you can help, call 0800 30 80 20 or simply send your name and address in an envelope marked Free Post Plan. Please call 0800 30 80 20 or write to Free Post Plan today. Like me, my daughters, Hattie, Georgie and Jocelyn, and Melody, you'll be pleased you did.
This is Talk Radio, the conversation of the nation. Ian Collins and the creatures of the night. Free call 0500 1053 89 now.
We got some top complainer letters, which we'll do in a second, because they're all listening. Let's go to Kate in Lancaster. Kate, you're on Talk Radio. Hi.
Hello.
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 What do you got for us?
Things to take out of Britain.
Yeah.
Two things. First of all, spam.
Spam.
Especially if it comes in fritters.
I'll go with that. Spam. Does anybody eat spam?
I don't know.
That's disgusting stuff.
I don't know. I don't think so, but it's
Flipping
still around.
spam. It's horrible.
I know. Tin spam as well. You see it in the supermarket, but no one ever buys it.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen anyone buy spam?
I don't know anybody who eats it.
Exactly.
What is that
But
stuff?
it's still there. You can see it every supermarket.
Flipping spam.
The other thing,
Yes.
Morris dancers.
Morris dancers.
Gotta go.
Oh, we'll get rid of those.
Sorry, hankies and sticks and bells.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We'll get rid of those.
There's something wrong there.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. Christopher Biggins is gay.
It's amazing, isn't it?
I'm stunned.
What a shocker.
After all these years.
What a shocker.
Well, I mean, that's the carpet out from underneath me.
Exactly.
You've thrown me there.
What do we say? You know, this kind of news is just way too revealing.
Yeah, it's like breathtaking. You don't know what to say about it.
Absolutely. Nice one, Kate.
I'll see you later.
See you later.
Bye.
Hatfield, Matt, you're on Talk Radio. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, very good. What have you got?
Kebab houses, kebab things. Yeah, basically what happens is I got kicked out of my house a little while ago and I'm sharing a student flat. And I can't cook to save my life, so my food depends on, like, the local chippy, the curry house, and a kebab van down the road.
The old kebab van, it's back again. Go on.
Yeah, I know. It's absolutely bizarre, because it's just like a little white van. And you go up to it, and the blokes in there can't speak English. They got grease all over their hair. And they also, those kebab things which they got on the States, they're dripping the grease.
Yeah.
The thing that always gets me is, like, the cans of Coke and the cans of drinks they sell in there are all in French. So you get all these competitions and stuff in France.
What do they go over and buy a job lot or something?
Yeah,
Is that what they do?
Across the Eurostar or something like that, and they're all foreign stuff like this. The kebab which you get, the bread is all stale and stuff like this. It's just, I have to stick to the burgers. And another thing, the burgers in there, the cheese when they pick it up, you think, well, how long has that been out there? Because it's been like there for about, I don't know,
a
couple of days or stuff like this. And it's horrible with food and things like this.
Yeah.
But I don't know what else I'd chuck out of it. Probably Essex.
Essex? Yeah,
there's no point to Essex, really.
Yeah, that's a good point, really. I mean, Essex has kind of been there for a long time and boasts nothing in particular. So, yeah, maybe we could put Essex there. Manchester, Janine, you're on Talk Radio. Hi.
Hi.
Hello. What have you got for us?
Well, I was telling your assistant before about the time I was trapped in a lift with Madge Ramsey from Neighbours, or Madge Bishop as she's called now.
Never.
Yeah, that's true.
Anne Charleston.
Yeah, that's right.
That's her name.
Yeah.
Was she all right?
She was great, yeah.
She's a lovely woman.
She actually apologised for Neighbours and Home and Away and Prisoner Cell Block 8 and
fantastic.
Every awful soap that had ever been put out.
Because, I was thinking about her the other day, oddly enough.
Really?
I don't very often put Neighbours on, but it was on.
Yeah.
And she left Neighbours, didn't she, yonks ago?
Yeah.
With Harold.
That's right.
And she did a lot of work in this country, obviously when you met her, and then she went to live in Ireland.
Yeah.
And said, this is where I want to stay forever, because it's lovely, it's idyllic, it's just beautiful. But of course, now she's back there.
She's back over there, yeah. They've got her back, yeah.
Must be paying her heaps of cash.
Yeah.
So stuck in a lift with Madge from Neighbours.
That's right,
Fantastic. You wouldn't believe she's also 106.
No, I wouldn't believe that.
It's amazing, isn't it?
No,
they look good, those Aussies.
Yeah.
Nice one, Janine.
Okay.
See you later. Bye-bye. We love that. People trapped in places with celebs. Manchester. Gary, you're on Talk Radio.
All right, him.
Hello.
You can't ban mobile kebab shops. I depend on them.
We got to set fire to that. What do you mean you depend on them? After a beer, you mean?
Well, yeah. Well, no. When I'm working, I drive to Luton every night.
Oh,
from
yeah.
Manchester, and That's the first thing I do is go into this little kebab van.
You do this every night?
Mm.
I'll check. Your intestines are probably doing the Muppet Show at the moment.
I've been actually told by my doctor that I'm addicted to chilies. He said they're addictive.
Addicted to chilies?
Yeah.
What's up with your man?
Well, me I had the old Red Ring Rogers syndrome.
Oh, well, there's nothing worse, is there?
Yeah. And,
so you're addicted. So you went to the doctors, and he concluded that you're addicted to the chilies that you have on the kebabs.
Well, he had to get me up on the table.
Oh, don't tell me the details, please. You'll be talking about rubber gloves in a minute.
He stuck his finger
Yes,
on me.
I know. Yes, I know. So listen, you have a kebab every night.
Yeah, every single night.
Oh, you got to pack that in, Gary. I tell you, your insides will be doing flipping aerobics before you know it. Chipping Norton, Sue, you're on Talk Radio.
Oh, hi there.
Hello.
Hi.
What do you got for us?
Fashion's coming out the second time around and everybody pretending they're really trendy and wearing...
Yeah, I know. Go on.
And they're old people's dresses, really dressed up, quarto dresses and trisel skirts. Oh,
yeah.
God, they're so crap.
Don't need all that old laugh, do you? Hey, it's an outrage.
I actually work in a restaurant. The dumbest complaints we've had, I mean, somebody in the summer ordering really hot food, curry, saying this food's just too hot.
Oh, what?
Yeah, and then somebody asking for shell on prawns and then saying things like, these shells, you know, they're on the prawns. And I said, can you take them off? And I said, yeah, OK, then I'll sit down and I'll start taking them off. I was sort of winding them up, you know, and they really taking it in.
So they ordered the prawns and they couldn't quite work out that the stick was still the full
prawn.
prawn.
No, it was actually on the board, shell on prawns.
Yeah.
And this woman was complaining, saying, you know, these prawns have got shells on them.
Oh, what a nut job.
Yeah, I know.
So dumb. We've got to get rid of all of those out the UK as well,
and
really.
metal signs in the grass.
Metal signs in the grass?
I've cut my ankle on one of them.
Did you? What sort of signs have you got in your grass there?
Well, not me. Just nearby in Mortney Marsh, they got nasty metal signs there.
What do they say, these things? Worms this way or something?
You know, keep off the grass and stuff like that, and you actually fall over them. I know you're not supposed to be on them, but not necessarily in the grass.
Oh, but if they haven't cut the grass, you see, you can't see the sign.
Well, that's right. I mean,
and that's why you fall A over T.
And that's right, if you take the dog for a walk and you go flying over.
you knew without that, okay? You freaks the dog out as well. Because the dog wonders what's going on and thinks, look, me owner's having a flipping bow wow there. That's not conducive with my walk. What's going on? Belfast, Connor, you're on Talk Radio.
How's things, Ian?
Hello, very well, sir. What have you got?
Good, man. I tell you what you've got to get rid of, first of all.
Yep.
Vegetarians.
Vegetarian, yeah, we can put those out, because they're a bunch of whinging hypocrites. Flipping vegetarians. I don't know a vegetarian who doesn't wear leather.
I know. And my big brother included.
Yeah, you see, they're all at it.
I know. And I've got a complaint for you as well.
Yeah, go, fire away.
It was in a fast food place I used to work in. That was all very brightly painted walls and this kind of thing. And there was those little tin disposable ashtrays, you know, the little silver numbers.
Yeah.
Well, I was working at the counter, somebody came up after having finished their grub and said, these just don't match the decor, they don't match the decor of the restaurant. And that was it was nothing to do with the food being cold or overcooked or anything, like nothing wrong with the food.
Dumb.
But the big complaint was the fact that the ashtrays didn't match the decor. What do you say to people like that?
The people are just unbelievable. People are unbelievable. I've got I've got a letter, there's a few letters actually, but there's a couple in particular I'm going to winkle out in a second, just for unbelievability.
There's some people in life you just cannot please them, no matter how
you can't please them.
You go to.
You
there's
can't
no pleasing them at all.
Yeah, it's nuts, Connor.
It is.
And it's nice to talk to you again.
You too, Ian. Look after yourself.
And you too.
Bye-bye.
See you later. Bye-bye, Connor in Belfast. Free call 0500 1053 89. Things you get rid of out the UK because it's just got to go. Unbelievable complainers, and you might have come across this, you know, in your workplace, etc. It's done it again, isn't it? It just selects things. This computer, it's just on the flipping wonk. I better hit that button there. So you want to hear this letter then? You want to hear this letter? This is unreal. Go on, let's hear this letter. Listen, no, I sort of make a mistake, really. Because there's not, I know this for a fact, there's not a presenter on this station, I'm sure it applies to any other station, anywhere at all, who doesn't every now and again get letters from folk who don't like what they do. Okay, now that is, in one respect, entirely reasonable, although I've never quite understood why somebody would want to write to an individual and tell them that they don't like them.
I couldn't be bothered, personally.
Well, you couldn't be bothered. You wouldn't go up to somebody in a pub, you know, and just say, you know, by the way, I don't like you. Just thought I'd tell you that. Bye.
But the thing you do is you avoid someone, or you don't listen to them, or you don't watch them if you don't like them.
Absolutely. But, and I've discussed this with a lot of people, and a lot of the other presenters on the station as well. And everyone's kind of of the same opinion, really. And when somebody complains, it's not so much... Somebody writes and doesn't like the show. Like I say, I find it odd that somebody bothers to write. But that's, you know, if somebody doesn't like it, they don't like it. You'd have to have very kind of strange illusions about what you do if you thought that every single person who flicks this on is going to like it.
Absolutely.
But what never ceases to amaze me are the reasons behind why somebody sometimes doesn't like it.
Pray tell.
I will tell, yes, and I will read this letter verbatim.
Please do.
Okay, and I'll tell anybody listening to this now that if there's any areas of kind of language in this country that offends you, then I suggest you turn your radio off now, but I'm reading it verbatim, okay? So what somebody wrote to me, and I feel duty-bound to impart that information to the good folk in the studio here and anyone listening at this moment in time as well. Again, I don't mind somebody saying they don't like the show, but if their reasons are sound, on this occasion, there are one or two areas that I will pick up on afterwards.
Right.
Okay, this comes from, and he knows who he is, because he's still listening. He's still listening. Because you'd have to, because you don't write a letter to a station and then not listen to see if it gets read out.
No,
you just don't do that. His name is John Collins.
Hello, John Collins.
Hello, John Collins.
It's your dad.
Yeah, I bet it is. Who says? And he's from Aberdeen. It's a lovely place.
Lovely.
It says, Dear Ian Collins, during the past few weeks, I've listened to your programme twice, only because I couldn't believe how bad it was the first time. Fine. Okay, he listened for confirmation.
Yeah.
He's actually listened more than twice. He's lying there, you see. He's lying to start with. However, I won't be listening ever again, and that's for sure.
Right.
That's fine. You often say, I'll be with you in a second, which in your case means anything from 3 to 10 minutes. Wise up, man. Well, actually, you got that wrong. It could be anything from 3 to an hour and 10 minutes. When folk ring a radio station, we have 6 lines here. This applies to anyone, any time of day, no matter where you are, whoever show it happens to be. I just every now and again say, I'll be with you as soon as pos, and I mean I'll be with you as soon as pos. Okay, it's as simple as that. So it could be longer than 10 minutes. About half of your programme is taken up with you and your pals, especially you as man, you really do love the sound of your own voice. Well, I am kind of paid to talk. I'm really sorry about that, but
right.
Like, it's sort of in the contract, you know, when I signed this thing, and they said, you know, if you're going to take the job, you've got to be prepared to talk.
Yes.
Really sorry about that,
you know. Qualification, really.
I mean, of all the complaints you might have, John, it really kind of escaped your notice that it is actually my programme. Whether I'm talking to myself, whether I'm talking to Miff and Sarah or Pete, or whether I'm talking to a caller, you know, I can't really control that. I'm actually paid to talk.
I hear there's going to be a new concept called silence radio. But
silence radio, that's right, where the presenter doesn't actually talk and just the good folk of the UK do. Prattling on about some rather boring, and I mean boring, subject. Well, now here comes the best bit.
This is the bit I'm waiting for.
Well, it's the second to best bit,
Is this
really.
the foul language?
No, it's not the foul language.
Oh, dear.
This is the bit where the listener becomes a psychic in market research.
Right.
Excellent, because what John obviously did prior to writing this letter was trot around the United Kingdom and survey the population who listened to this show.
And that's why he was so busy he could only listen to it twice.
That's why, because he was out and about in his car with a clipboard interviewing people, because he says, don't you understand, myself and about 90% of listeners don't want to hear that crap. Oh, he's out his pram now.
He is.
He's out his pram.
The pen's going through the paper.
Listen, let me tell you something, John, and I should really put this on a kind of a pre-recording, because I've said it so many times. We've been doing this show 3 years, okay?
Just over
3 years. This is the most listened to show at this time of night on national radio. Now, talk radio, like any other commercial station, and any other radio station for that matter, has to survey its audience. It has to know who's listening, what the audience like, what the audience don't like, the kind of times they like to listen to a certain thing, the times they don't want to hear a certain thing, the sort of subjects they want to hear, the kind of age groups that listen. That's obviously common sense. Has it never occurred to you, John Collins, from Union Street in Aberdeen, has it never occurred to you that if it weren't working, we wouldn't do it?
They wouldn't employ us.
You know, we wouldn't just do it for a giggle. You know, this is actually a very large business. One of the biggest media organisations in the world, CLT, that own us here. They kind of know what they're doing, John, right? And they wouldn't just, like, you know, say, get on there and do it. And even if 90% of the people that listen to you hate it, carry on doing it.
Exactly.
Now, what we do here, John, we do because folk obviously do enjoy. That's why we do it. You know, bottom line is that it's a business. And if it weren't working... So what you really mean here, John, is you don't like it. Don't speak for 90% of people you don't even know.
And, John, if 90% of the people who are listening don't like it, why are they listening?
Exactly. Good point. So roll on the day when the great Mike Dickin replaces you every morning.
Carry on.
Now, you see, I've said this before. The reason, see, Mike does his bit at the weekends and we do our bit in the week. It's called a contrast. It's called a balance. It's called two different styles of broadcasting.
Light and shade.
Light and shade. You know, different kinds of styles, different sorts of approach. Mike will deal with a topical-led issue, whereas we might avoid that and go for something more quirky. That's just called diversity. It's just called offering more than one style of service.
Offering
That's what it's
a
all
choice.
about. But I have to say this, what you don't follow John Collins from Union Street in Aberdeen, and you really haven't got a grasp of, and I'm surprised that I would have thought anybody that can write, even if it is only just, would actually have enough brain to work out that you can listen to any show and hear it presented. If when we talk amongst ourselves,
yeah,
that's the bit that winds some people up. But for some strange reason, if I spoke on my own and didn't take a call for 15 minutes.
That's okay.
Like Mike will do. Mike Dickin will do it at the weekend.
Yeah.
If he wants to set up a subject or run through various issues that he's discussing, he'll sit there and talk for 15 minutes.
Yeah, no problem.
So, has John Collins never noticed that? All Mike is doing there is doing exactly what we do when we talk between us here in the studio. The idea of studio discussions isn't to alienate anyone listening. It's actually quite the opposite. It's to act as some kind of catalyst for folk to call in with a similar tale or to just a trigger in terms of stories, which is why we get the amount of calls we do and why we have the amount of listeners we do. So you got all that wrong, John. Keep mooching around and looking or talking about bods, you prick. No, that's what he called me. That's what he called me. Yours, Jay Collins. Now, of course, we have to be prepared to believe that he could be winding us up.
Well, I don't know, but
you see, because somebody writes a letter and expects to be taken seriously, and then lobs that line at the end.
Well, I think it's foul.
It's an outrage.
It just leaves a foul taste in my mouth.
I look offended, don't I? I look offended.
You are offended.
Do I look offended, Sarah? I do, don't I?
Yeah.
I look really offended.
So offended.
But, I never understand how somebody uses, wants to complain about something that, on their opinion, is not to a standard, and then lobs that on the end of it, expecting the letter to somehow come alive with the final line.
Can I make I'm going to make a leap. I'm going to make a leap as big as what John Collins has made. John Collins, number 1, I bet you're single. Number 2, I bet you're over 65.
That's true, because we ban the over 65s. And number 3, I bet you live on your own.
Absolutely.
Bet you do.
Pardon?
Because folk who complain about us talking usually do.
Absolutely.
Very rarely people who don't live on their own complain about that. It's usually the people who live on their own, because it just really, it serves to highlight their own status.
Yeah, it reinforces the fact that they are on their own.
Yeah.
They ain't got anyone to talk to.
Yeah, exactly. Which is odd. So, John Collins, there's the letter. Thankfully you did hear it because you were listening. You were listening. And now you're in that impossible situation, of course, where you can't write back to me because you weren't supposed to be listening.
Oh, boy.
It's a shame. But if on the off chance one of your friends was and told you about this conversation, maybe you want to give us a call, because I'd like to discuss this.
This would be good, yeah.
Yeah. We should get this kind of stuff out in the open. We really should.
We should.
But actually, no, we shouldn't talk about it. I'm probably the only presenter on the radio that talks about these kind of... Whale does from time to time. But the idea is to kind of let it go by. But I never can, you see. I can never let it lie.
You wouldn't let it lie?
I wouldn't let it lie.
You wouldn't let it lie?
I just can't sometimes, because I can if somebody just writes... Every now and again somebody writes and says, like when we were, leaving the other week, which thankfully never happened, some people wrote and said... actually, it won't bother me, because, again, I find it amazing. It won't bother me that you're leaving, because I never liked you anyway. It was very nice. Nice thing to write to somebody.
Hope you never work again.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. Thank you for threatening that everything that I do and my mortgage taken off. That's really nice, but, there you go. But, that's one thing. But the reasons behind it are so outlandish.
Yeah.
But there we are. Anyway, lines are busy. And, hey, we took bundles of calls at the top of this show anyway.
We did.
We rattled through a ton of them. Free call, 0500 10 53 89, 0541 59 69 79 on the faxes.
Hey, before you go...
Yeah, what's up?
Did you hear?
What?
Christopher Biggins is gay.
No.
This really weird. An amendment to the American Constitution prohibits presidents from serving any more than 2 terms in office, totaling 8 years in the White House. Therefore, it's rare that American presidents die in office. It's this fact that makes the following all the more bizarre and all the more unsettling. Presidents elected every 20 years since 1840 have died while serving the American people. William H. Harrison died shortly after being elected in 1840. 20 years later, in 1860, Abraham Lincoln became the 16th President of the United States. 5 years after, John Wilkes Booth assassinated him at the Ford Theater. In 1880, James A. Garfield was elected, then died, setting this unnerving trend. As the century turned in 1900, William McKinley became president. Then in 1904, the curse seemed to continue as a Serbian dissident shot McKinley as he campaigned in Buffalo, New York. Warren G. Harding was elected in 1920 and also died before he completed his term in office. In 1945, Franklin D. Roosevelt died. The last American president to serve more than 2 terms was first elected to the highest office in the land in 1932, again in 1936, and of course, 1940. The popular John F. Kennedy assassinated in 1963 and was elected in 1960. The curse was finally broken by Ronald Reagan, who first became president in 1980. Reagan was the only president elected into office every 20 years since 1840 not to die before the end of his term. Or was he? Strange, but true.
Can England raise their game and inspire in the King Hassan II tournament in Morocco? I get knocked down. Follow all the action with Talk Radio. On Wednesday, the 27th of May, England play Morocco. And on Friday, the 29th of May, they face Belgium. Have your say on England's fortunes as you hear the action live from Casablanca, right here on Talk Radio. I get knocked down. Talk Radio. That long ball drops beautifully for Ian Wright on his left foot. Marvellous finish for Wright. Beautifully executed goal. Make Talk Radio your official World Cup station. Instrumental Gold. A priceless collection of the world's most precious melodies. A unique double album of 40 original golden hits performed by the original artists. Unforgettable gems, including Stranger on the Shore, Annie's Song, and Theme from a Summer Place. Played by such maestros of melody as Henry Mancini, Montavani, and Johnny Pearson. And of course, Dave Brubeck's classic recording, Take 5. Instrumental Gold can be yours on 2 CDs for just £21.95 or 2 cassettes for only £18.95, including post and packing. This exclusive collection is only available by calling Music and Memories, free on 0800 114 224. That's 0800 114 224. Delivery within 10 days and your money back if not completely satisfied. Call free on 0800 114 224. Discover Instrumental Gold, an essential collection you'll treasure forever. Call 0800 114 224.
We are controlling the transmission.
This is Talk Radio. Ian Collins and the Creatures of the Night. Free call 0500 1053 89 now.
Amazing. So we're going get a frame. That's going on the office wall, that letter. John in Aberdeen, thank you, sir, who managed to work out from listening to this show only twice that 90% of the entire listening public don't like it. How bizarre. Let's get over to, we're going here to Telford. How you doing, Colin? You're on Talk Radio.
Hi. I like things I like to ban in this country.
Yeah.
Chewing gum.
Chewing gum, yeah, they're banned in Singapore, don't they?
Yeah, I like to ban it every year because every time I buy a new pair of shoes, no matter what, when I'm walking down the street, I seem to pick it up on the bottom of my shoe, trail it into my house.
Yeah.
Yeah? And also when I go and sit on a bus, you know, the bus, there seems to be someone on the street, you know, on the seat.
Yes.
Yes.
You can do without it, can't you?
Yeah, I could,
Okay, thank you, Colin, for that. I don't think it was the full ticket. Let's go to Stirling. Stuart, you're on Talk Radio.
Good evening, Ian.
Hi, do you know Aberdeen very well?
It's the Granite City, that's as much as I know.
Yeah, John Collins lives there anyway.
John sounds like a bit of a TWAT, if you ask me.
Anyway, what do you got for us?
Anyway, the things you were talking about the people that complained.
Yeah.
Now, I used to work for Director Inquiries 192, as you probably know it.
Yep.
Now the first
you must have had some real giggles on this.
Unbelievable, Ian.
Blimey.
The first one I can recall, anyway, because it was a couple of years ago, was a guy asked me for Mr. I think it was Smith. Mr. Smith, such and such a town, such and such a place. Couldn't find it. Oh, no, you must be able to find it, he says. I says, I'm sorry, it's not there. This went on for about 10 minutes. And the guy says, I want to speak to your supervisor. This isn't good enough. And I says, but I'm sorry, sir, the number isn't there. And he goes, but you must know who I'm talking about. He's a wee bald man.
Never.
This is 100% true.
What a nutter.
I nearly hit the floor. The second one was when somebody came on and said, he said, I'm looking for the number for Silk Cut in Glasgow.
Yeah.
And I says, Silk Cut in Glasgow? I don't think so, but I'll check for you. So this went on for another 10 minutes, and again he says,